Hello, friends. It is review time. Reaction to NXT here in mid-June. And here we go. Let's get right into it. Again, as you've known before in my first or second React video of NXT, I am not, until we start the series, I am not a P1 NXT viewer. So I'm jumping in after the hot start NXT had a month ago. I'm jumping in, so some of these stories may have a deeper background than what I have observed. But hey, this is what happens when new fans jump in and they get the verdict of whether or not you like it or not. So let's start. Things I like, things I didn't like. Hollywood Trick. I don't think I ever want to see him turn babyface ever, ever, ever. Man, there's just levels to this. And Hollywood Trick, again, knocking things out of the park. The backstage interaction with the TNA guys, the in-ring stuff, and all setting up for the championship match next week. Not a fan of the fact that Obafemi is taking a back seat. If Oba was booked by me, he would be dominating on the main roster, to be perfectly honest. But it is what it is. Not a fan of how they're handling him. But we saw the brief interaction between Oba and Trick. Maybe we get that match one more time. Maybe not. We'll see. But Hollywood Trick, you want to talk about levels. This is the developmental brand, the third brand. But it's clear and obvious Trick is going all in on this TNA storyline, as he should. He is treating this the right way. And if Trick Williams continues on this run, he will be a hot commodity to move up to the main roster within the next 6 months to a year. So keep up good work. Hollywood Trick Williams, top thing. I like the build-up to Blake Monroe's contract signing. Number one, she survived the NXT parking lot. Now, she did not survive the rest of the night, which we'll talk about, or the end of the night, which we'll talk about here shortly. But the acknowledging throughout, hey, she's going to be here. The Marilyn Monroe video presentation at the beginning of their video package. Her pulling up to the parking lot. Her taking, getting the photo shoot backstage. Her walking to the ring. Like everything. It was 2 hours of NXT built up to her getting that first contract signing with NXT. Now, with that being said, the fans do not dig her new name. She did not get a rousing reaction that I would have expected for a big star. And I think a lot of it has to do with changing her name. Mariah May is a name that draws money. And WWE, because they're selfish, said, hey, we want something on our own right. So you're going to sink or swim Blake Monroe. But I thought the NXT audience told you that we like her. Actually, we love her. But we love the presentation, but not a fan of the name. So that's what they told you. Blake Monroe, Mariah May, that's what they wanted. Now, what I also liked is the closing angle at the end with Jacy Jayne making a statement. I think she has done a pretty good job as NXT Women's Champion. This is a different type of run here now. Because in the past, you're talking about having people, Stephanie Vaquer and various others who have had legendary runs as NXT Women's Champion. This is different. This is Jacy Jayne looking to earn respect. And she's not going to tolerate disrespect. She's not going to tolerate somebody just walking in here and thinking they could win the championship. So I like what I saw there with the closing angle. Get right to the point. Establish that you are the NXT Women's Champion. So I like that. All right. Things I didn't like. Man, where do I start? Jada Parker. First off, no, I'll get to that point in a second. The false finish, Jada Parker was caught tapping out. but the ref didn't see it. This doesn't work for me for a couple reasons. Number one, we had an issue with a finish in last week's NXT with Jasper Troy not getting his shoulder up against Obafemi. So now 2 weeks in a row, either a ref being blind or a performer making a mistake, but nonetheless, our intelligence as an audience is questioned because a finish that we see is not followed through. So that's alarming to me, to be perfectly honest. What is more alarming was that there was, if this were to, I understand, this is a TV show, I get all that. Sports entertainment is about projecting what's real in the sense of competition, right? If the referee would have caught somebody, or, they missed a call, Ava, who's all over the show as a general manager, you watch everything, you're being alerted that this is happening. So what should you do? Either you should issue a rematch or move Thea into next week's match as well. In the past, maybe you don't take the opportunity away from Jada, but you add a fifth person. Maybe that's what should have happened instead of, oh, the ref missed it. It's okay. It's only for a championship opportunity or all women's pay-per-view. No big deal. I think that's a big effing deal. I think that's a huge deal to miss that. And I think it's a huge blunder in the case of NXT to not address it. So that tells me either it was a mistake by Jada Parker, which is not good, because, again, it's the second week in a row this has happened to somebody on NXT programming, or it's a major fail by Shawn Michaels to not address it. And to be perfectly honest, as much as it was nice to see 4 women's matches on the show tonight, and it was really nice to see, NXT prides themselves on elite level in-ring action, and to see glaring mistakes like that, I know they're learning, but when you say this is where the best women's division, or we're the best wrestle, wait, what show are we talking about again? If you're not living up to that, that's a problem. Let me jump ahead to my third one, then I'll backtrack to end it. So, to me, saying that this is the best women's division, it sounds to me like a different program saying this is where the best wrestle. So if that's the case, you better deliver. Now, to AEW's front, in most cases, the wrestling part does deliver. WWE programming, WWE-style wrestling on weekly television does not allow for wrestlers to really, really shine in a shorter form situation. So it's hard to accept as a newer viewer of, to watching 2 hours of NXT. It's hard as a new viewer to accept, oh, this is where the best women's division is competing, when the matches are not doing a good job of holding my attention. They're not bad matches, but they're not holding my attention. So when you say this is the best women's division, I expect to see better action than I see on Mondays and Fridays and Wednesdays, and that's obviously not the case. So I don't know if that's a good idea to continue to say that, because you're setting these women up for failure. You just are. I don't mean to be harsh, but hell, this is how you get better. You're setting these women up for failure when you keep saying this is the best women. And in the world of WWE, this should never be the best women's division anyway, because the best women's division should be on Raw or SmackDown in the world context of WWE. So you're contradicting yourself by even acknowledging that this potentially could be the best women's division in WWE or in pro wrestling, when in fact it's not meant to be that. All right, last thing. I understand NXT has told this story about the family, with Tony D'Angelo and his family. One of the intriguing things when I really started to get into NXT, it was this angle. I'm kind of irritated by the angle. I'm kind of bored by this angle, and I'm not a fan of Tony D'Angelo's performance. Now, I have to acknowledge that he is a heel in waiting because he is the jealous leader. So maybe right now, Stacks and other guys are being portrayed as heels, but to me, the ultimate heel in this story may be D'Angelo. But to me, the acting is very much over the top. It's just like, okay, now it's not believable. We've seen partners inadvertently hit each other all the time. So you're going over the top. It's just like chill. Now I say this with a grain of salt, knowing that or considering that D'Angelo could eventually be the one to turn heel. So we'll see. All right, that's things I like, things I didn't like about NXT. Again, we're doing this every week. And stay tuned because tomorrow we'll do the same thing for AEW Dynamite, which is only 2 hours. Only 2 hours. So we'll do that tomorrow. Remember, again, to like and subscribe. My reactions, also Kyle's reactions to the show. I like the fact that we both do reactions, get different opinions. I started to see where we agree, where we don't agree. And I think it's good to have two different reactions. So every night we have those for you. And, of course, our main show coming up Friday morning where we recap all the big storylines in pro wrestling. So, for all of us here, well, it's just me. I'm signing off. You guys have a great... Wow, I screwed up that sign-off. Have a great rest of your day. See you tomorrow.